Hi everyone and welcome to my page Blue Chameleon. Today we're going to be doing a repot for Philodendron Verrucosum. As you can see, I have a few philodendrons on the table. This one is a narrow escape, the Gloriosum, which I'm sure that you all know, and lastly the Verrucosum. Now I've had this plant since March. It was just one leaf with one node, and it is now late September, so I think this plant has done pretty well. It had no roots. I propagated it in moss. I shall put some pictures up. I do really love this height of this plant, but I like to have a slightly bushier plant. Other than just repotting, I'm also going to take the top off. There's an opportunity to have two more plants so that I can put them in the base and have a trilogy of plants at the bottom. I will probably put those in moss, leave them for about a month to 2 months, see how well they do, and if and when they're ready, we'll pop them back in and I'll do a video for you. So I've got my pot and I'm going to put a stone at the bottom. I'm going to add just a bit of fine pumice, just to the very, very, very bottom, just for drainage. And this soil is my Monstera Philodendron soil, and I'm just going to add a small amount to the bottom, and as you can see, it's really, really, really good for drainage. I'm going to see where the plant sits, and that's perfect. Okay, so we're going to put this to one side. We've got this plant running around here, and just in here there's a little node. So I'm going to take a clean pair of scissors and I'm going to snip that off. So now we have one plant, which I'll do here and just here, and then we'll have two plants. But let's put this over here for now. And we're going to take this and repot. So I'm just going to loosen up. And what's great, you can see all these roots in here. Okay. I'm going to take this out, so we're going to cut this off. Take this out. Very, very slowly. A little soft here. And these roots are really good, so we're just going to very gently pop that in there. Get it to the side. So just keep your plant fairly central. I had to do this again after I did this because I put it too far back. The pole was not firm enough, but place your soil around the plant. As I said before, this is a really free draining soil. This allows the plant not to get root rot. So just press down the soil so it's firm, not too hard. And you want the soil to be maybe 1 centimetre, maybe 1 inch from the top of the pot. Now, as regarding watering, remember you can just use your finger to dip in about 1 inch to see if it needs watering, but I use a water meter, and I shall put a picture of that water meter at the top. Now, if you get your moss pole and you place it in, now here I actually did place it too far backwards, which I did change later on, but gently pushing the pole, try not to disturb the roots from the plant you've just put in, but you do need to push it a little bit further than I did. And then secure with some ties. String will do, but never too tight. There is Velcro ties now you can use, which I will be getting. And the one thing about philodendrons, they're very much like Monstera in that they grow up into the foliage of the trees, and as they grow up, they will, hopefully, the leaves will get bigger. So if you put them on a pole, you will get a bigger plant. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to take this cutting, and as you can see, you've got one here, one here, one here. Okay, and this will be the new leaf. I'm going to put this in here with some water and moss. So I'm going to take this moss, I'm going to dunk it in here, get some moisture. So I'm going to take this. Now there's a node here as well, so I'm just going to nibble this off very, very gently. So that we have this. Okay. And you can see here where the roots will come out. These are the areas where you need to put in moss, and I'm going to cut in between those, and as you can see, these are the aerial roots so far, but they will turn into roots. There's a bud there, as you can see, and that bud will turn into a new leaf. Okay, so make sure you do a really sharp cut. For some reason I didn't go straight through the first time. Here I am deciding whether I should make this just into one cutting, or if I could get away with a node without a leaf, and I decided to go for it. So I have now, I'm going for 3, 1, 2, and then a top hole, which the leaf will come out in about a week or so. Now I'm going to use some rooting powder. You don't need this, but I did this last time. Now I'm putting the moss in the bottom of the glass vase. Now I'm squeezing the moisture out first. It's very important you do that because you don't want it to be soaking wet. I mean, you can actually do these in water, but I do find moss better. And because there are some aerial roots anyway, they should be faster. Okay, so after you've left them for about 30 minutes, and that's just to dry out the ends so they don't get root rot, I'm going to take the ends and I'm going to dip them in some rooting powder and then place them very gently in the sphagnum moss. I'm going to go for this small one first because it needs to be right at the bottom. It doesn't have a leaf, so we can bury that quite deep down there. Now I'm going to take this bigger one, and the leaf obviously has to fit. So I'm going to just dip it in some water just so it takes up a little bit more of the powder. And as you can see, I'm going to squeeze this leaf down very gently, which is what I did when the mother plant was small. This is exactly what I did. And I usually put a glass dome over the top, so it does have a tiny bit more room than just the lid. And you can put a plastic bag, a clear plastic bag, and then tape it or elastic band over it just to keep the moisture in. I'm adding a little bit more moss, and that's just to drop it to on the top of them. I will get a stick or something just to place it down very gently, and you can spray a little bit of moisture. I use dehumidified water, but you can use tap water. But if you can find a more pure source of water, it is better to. So I'm just pushing the moss down just to cover those aerial roots, and this will encourage the roots to grow because they'll be surrounded by moisture. Okay. And when I'm happy with where the moss is, as I say, I will then put a covering over, which for me is a dome. Like so. Okay. so much for joining me today here at Blue Chameleon. We've finished the plant. We've got a plant here now that is in a bigger pot. It's been cut. There's a new shoot ready to go. So we're all laid there. And now we have 3 new plants in here. We'll see if they root. I hope to see you soon. Comment below and please subscribe.